here we are, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. Becky is with me in person, and so I just want you to know that I did not over-butter the voice because I did not want to make her, like...
It's double buttery right now for me, so I'm already at, like, max butter. My cholesterol is going up just sitting here. And
here we've got Lily calling in from Spain. Lil, how are you?
I'm good. Enjoying a nice little Saturday.
And we've got an amazing guest that we're going to get to in a moment. The great Rachel Levitin, who is an incredible musician, songwriter, performer. She joined us at Yellow Door Night this year. She is one of the amazing team working on Project Hera. But before we get to Rachel, Becky and I had the most amazing Shabbat dinner experience yesterday, where we invited 40 people over from the ROI community, the Schusterman family.
I like how you include Becky as if it was her idea. Because Becky 100% didn't invite anybody to your house.
There was 40 people, and Mom cooked for like 2 days. It was a little bit like we kind of chained her to the house and made her make all this Cuban cooking. But she also freelanced and added a bunch of other random things, like she threw in some pastelitos de guayaba.
Can I just say that as proof that Shai is our mother's favorite, all he had to do to get her to do all this cooking work is just go, "Oh, Mom, I love you so much. Aren't you having fun?" And then pretend this was somehow like a bonding thing for the two of them. And she'd be like, "Anything you want. I'll cook even more food. I'll make things that aren't on the menu." And it's just like, it's just so easy for him.
That being said,
like, "Oh, Mommy, thanks."
Now that being said, it was an incredibly moving event because the event culminated with Mom and a young woman who just moved to the United States from Cuba 8 years ago, telling their stories of being Cuban Jews and escaping. So we got to start off the show saying a big thank you to Mom for all of her inspiration and hard work. And we're not going to talk about how we possibly lit a good portion of my stove on fire last night and we had to bring out a fire extinguisher and ruined the maduros that we couldn't serve because they were covered in fire extinguisher bits.
I'm just going to take like 30% responsibility for what happened.
Only 30%.
Only 30%. Because I did put something on the stove that was flammable and then walk away. So, like...
for a while.
For like an hour. So,
but, like, I feel like it's now, like, officially September, and I feel like I'm so excited that our mom is visiting me. She arrives on Monday, and she's done with the two of you for the rest of the summer.
Really? She
this has been the summer of Kim and Courtney, which I now refer to Shai and Becky as Kim and Courtney, because the only thing the two of you have done is, like, ask Mom to do shit for you, then complain about the shit she's doing for you, then say how much you love her, and then make her do more shit for you, the two of you. And definitely Becky's the most Kim, because she's for sure the biggest bitch out of the three of us, especially pregnant. So, like, she 100 is the Kim right now. I think we could all take turns being different, like Kim's at different times, but Becky's for sure Kim right now. And Shai's definitely Courtney, because he's, like, so bossy and the oldest. And, like, no matter how, like, lazy he is about things, no offense, Court, she's definitely the laziest. Mom, and in this case is Kris Jenner, somehow still loves her, like, the most, which is weird. So, yeah, I would definitely say that the summer of Kim and Courtney's over. And now Mom can come and rest at Chloe's house and just, like, eat fun snacks. And I totally won't bother her. And, like, she can work out if she wants to work out. If she doesn't, she can just hang out. And I feel like she needs a break.
I'm going to say that I literally can't dispute a single word of what you said, however mean it was.
It's completely correct.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's get to our guest. Rachel Levitin, welcome to the Friday Night Movie Podcast.
Hi, how's it going? That was a wonderful story about your family there. Tim and Chloe, amazing. That was perfect. I understood that reference even if I don't watch the television program. Well done.
It's almost like they're so infused into our culture, you can kind of follow along anyways.
So Rachel...
It's a Jewish edition, and I respect that.
Jewish edition.
So Rachel is an honorary member of the family. Rachel Rachel's an incredible songwriter and performer. She performed at Yellow Door Night. But one of the things that is so important to us in the family is that Rachel, I took our elder daughter down to see Rachel perform once, and she dedicated a song, one of her songs called Dreaming, which you can find on rachellevitin.com. And that inspired our daughter so much that she wrote her first original song about dreams, 100% inspired by Rachel. And Rachel, you have told me many times you have been a musician for 20 plus years. What's that cycle like? Having started at a young age and now inspiring a whole generation of younger musicians.
It really has been the goal since I can remember. I mean, I remember being in high school and sitting in my bedroom and doing whatever silly homework assignments. Wait, let me pause. Homework is not silly. Children might be listening. Homework is not silly. But
we are in trouble if there are children listening to this podcast.
Right, true. Okay, so I digress. But yeah, I was just doing homework and I was just thinking, writing songs and doing whatever I do. And I knew I wanted to inspire people because, I felt like you got to pay it forward. For example, right now I'm on a call in the middle of Evanston, Illinois, while y'all are wherever you are. And I'm, spending a weekend with one of my biggest songwriting influences who has become a friend. And so really it's both exciting but also slightly confusing to be on the other side of it. It's like, did I really do something that impactful? And so hearing you say that story back to me, it's like I can't fake the smile I had on my face while you said it. It's pretty beautiful, and I couldn't ask for anything more than that. It tells me that I'm doing something right, even if it's not my full-time job to make music all the time, as much as I would like it to be. I know I'm doing something right, and that means a lot.
Well, that's amazing. Another thing you are doing to inspire so many musicians is you are part of the team, along with the great Kathy DeToro, who I have talked about as well on the show from the Legwarmers and So Fetch and her own solo music. You are working on Project Hera, and specifically Hera Fest, which is on September 22nd at the City Winery in DC. Tell us a little bit about the mission of Project Hera.
So the mission of Project Hera is to empower girls and women of all ages, to have them feel supported in music, providing them with opportunities to perform, network, meet each other, and support each other, and let people know that, for lack of better words or terms, since, it's been appropriated for other kind of promotional efforts, but we're stronger together, to be completely frank. I mean, if women just get together and support each other, it's much easier than being pitted against each other, kind of like the Taylor Swift Reputation era. It's like we don't need to be snake slithering around, getting mad at Katy Perry for XYZ reasons. It makes more sense to support each other, kind of like how Demi Lovato recently buried whatever
she did.
Seems to have with, yeah, she did.
With Taylor Swift.
With an Instagram story, of all things. That's what buried the hatchet. It's like, but we're stronger together. And the point is that if we have these outlets for each other, I just remember being a 12-year-old girl and thinking I was super weird for writing songs, but it didn't stop me from doing it. I didn't know any other girls who wrote songs. I thought I was like a special, unique person, which, I mean, we all are in our own way, but had I known that there was support, to do these things, maybe life would have been slightly different somehow. I don't know how, but it really means a lot to me to know that 12-year-old me would be so proud of 32-year-old me for doing this, because I wish I had this at 12.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about the way Hera Fest is going to work and the range of acts? Because I'm looking at the poster right now, which is amazing, by the way. It has a woman with a guitar strapped to her back playing a video game, and it says "Rock Like a Girl." And
it's so cool.
It's got a list of this extraordinarily diverse group of performers. What kind of folks are going to be there?
Okay, so we've got a pretty diverse range of performers coming up. We have DJs who are going to be doing whatever DJs do. I'm not too privy to that kind of stuff, but it's going to be super awesome because I know a good chunk of them, and they're talented folks. And
DJ
then we have,
Blackberry's going to be there. She's amazing.
DJ Blackberry, yeah, Rose Corp, a few other people. And they make sure that we all have a good time, and we move and we dance, and it's awesome. But then we have like folk artists, we have rock and roll, we have, I'm sure, every other kind of genre under the sun. It's kind of hard without me looking at the exact poster to tell you everything, but we have a wide range of ages too. You know, we have children as young as 7. We have the kids from the School of Rock, from the DC metropolitan area, coming to perform, which I believe they also did some last year, which was just so cool because it's like all female little bands playing cover songs of the artists that, you know, when you're taking music lessons, you got to learn some standard stuff, and it's a lot easier to learn things if you've listened to it before, so you try to imitate that. And that's what these girls like. I remember watching them last year being like, holy cow, like I thought I had something under my belt at their age, but maybe I didn't. You know, like these kids really have something, and I hope they stick with it. Some of them may not, but being able to see this many women in one space all playing music for 8 hours, that would put me on a path to think, oh, this is normalized behavior. Why would I stop? Because all these other people do it. I feel like being able to see, even as just a spectator in the audience, if you've never picked up an instrument before and you're like a 4-year-old girl or whatever, and you're just trying to figure out, who am I? I don't know who I am yet. I'm just exploring the world with my parents and my friends and school and teachers. It's like being able to be on a Sunday afternoon with your family at a beautiful venue and restaurant space in the middle of the fall. We're going to have some open air space too, so it's like and it's covered, so if it rains, we're good to go. So no worries, you know, we get to enjoy the actual City Winery space, which we're so grateful for them providing this kind of opportunity for us to grow, because we're going from basically State Theater and Falls Church, and now this year, you know, we're upgrading to 3 stages.
That's
with
so
all
exciting.
Legitimate, you know, a big deal. Like,
and are you guys sponsored? Like, how are you able to make this happen?
It worked out that we got 2 of their stages, so we're not going to be on the main stage, but that aside, I mean, all of their stages are wonderful spaces. So what we have is we have their wine garden stage, which will be the main stage for the event, and then we have a stage, an acoustic stage that I will be managing in one of their outdoor covered spaces. And then we have a outdoor vendor space, and there will be a VIP lounge with the DJs spinning, and spaces outside as well for you, you know, to get items from female owned and run shops and things like that. And yeah, it's going to be a really cool just day of celebrating women and girls, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Cool. So I'm going to put a challenge out to the listeners. This is your call to action. Also, I'm going to lay it on thick because my daughter actually applied and was accepted to be one of the performers at Hera Fest.
It's so exciting.
If you would like to support this amazing initiative, go to projecthera.org, buy a ticket, come to the show, or go a little further down, maybe via volunteer, or even a little further down, click to donate, all right?
That's it. That's the way to support.
That is an amazing way to support this amazing initiative. And again, there's a Friday Night Movie connection, aside from our dear friends putting it on. There actually is a Friday Night Movie family member that is going to be in this show. So projecthera.org. Everyone go buy tickets and support it. Now, I'd like to move on to our subject of the day. Because we have a great musician with us here, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, music movie moments. We're going to go around robin, and or I don't exactly know how we're going to do it, but we're all going to talk about our favorite 5 or 6 music moments in movies. Lily, I know you've been waiting for this a lot. I'd like you to go first.
I don't want to go first.
I'd like you to go first. I'd like you to go first, unless you want to go first. Becky.
Me?
Lily, you should go first.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Did you make a list, or did you actually not make a list? You've been telling me for a week that you made a list.
I have a list.
All right, go
I
ahead.
have a list.
You go first.
Okay.
I'm worried some of ours will repeat, and then I won't say yours because I have so many backups.
And then, Rachel, what we get to do is we get to say whether or not we think they're good choices.
Okay, but
All
I
right, I'm in on that.
100% feel like I could have like 3 lists, and all 3 of the lists would be the same as Becky's. So I only made one list
I did think
with no
really,
backup.
I did
so.
think really hard of ones that you wouldn't think of.
Me too, and then I was like, but that's not my first choice, so I'm not gonna go with that.
Right. I feel like
but
a lot of mine I'd be stealing from you because I know they're your favorite, so I had to like dig a little deeper for my own.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
well,
that's a
let's
lot of
see.
neurosis. I just like picked mine.
Yeah, because you're the older brother, so it's very different. It's like
And a
you
musician.
get to
I think
pick
it's different.
first, and then Lily has her own, and it's like I'm the youngest, so everything that I like has been influenced by the two of you, and it's difficult.
Some deep psychology, man. Okay, so number 1. I mean,
Sorry
this is
for
not in
getting
order.
Real. I'm sorry I'm not real on the
Real
podcast.
talk.
You get real.
I'm
That's
getting
okay.
real.
Youngest sibling therapy, no problem.
No, it's like Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
I
was gonna say-
a big kiss on
Ugh.
my cheek.
I
So
see
gross.
that. Just like right now, you're being the Kylie, but whatever, it's not a big deal.
Go.
Okay, so
I don't even know what a Kylie
I don't know what
is.
it
me
is.
neither. I feel isn't she the youngest?
Oh.
Anyways, okay. So, not in any particular order, obviously, of importance. This is just the list. But I could not have a list without the ending credits of Buckaroo Banzai. When they are. Oh, that like scene, that music. That I don't know who wrote that music. I tried to like look it up vaguely, but
we
I was
assume
like,
it was
whatever.
Peter Weller or Jeff
I
Goldblum.
Or
Just 'cause.
Buckaroo himself.
Right.
Like, I want to believe it's real, where you see all of them walking, like, one by one. Jeff Goldblum is, like, in peak, just Jeff Goldblumness.
In a cowboy outfit.
Powerful cowboy outfit. Peter Weller. I mean, like, I'm not sure there's a sexier scene in film history than that. Maybe, like, maybe Rebel Without a Cause, like, could compete, James Dean, but, like, that scene is so good. Then the dancing scene in Breakfast Club, Carla DeVito's We Are Not Alone playing when they all rock out in detention. That is, for me, one of my
what's
favorite.
Funny is I love that dancing scene, but I never remember the song. Like, you could put any song in that scene, and I would be like, oh,
you could.
really?
I would say that's a great example of like the music that the song does not make the scene. It's like just a rocking out song.
So it's
it
a
could
great
be replaced.
music moment. It's not.
It's a great
song
music
specific.
moment. It's not song specific, no. But that is just a fantastic scene in that movie. And then what could you can't have this list without Lloyd Dobler. Speakers in
It's
your eyes.
it's so obnoxious that you took that because that's definitely mine and not yours, but that's fine. I'll let you have it.
We could share it.
No, that wasn't even your movie. I feel like you
All
only
right,
saw it once because of me.
I'm
Who
gonna-
had the
I love
poster?
that.
I'm gonna say, Rachel, I welcome your thoughts on this. I'm gonna say that scene has been repeated so many times.
So it's almost trite.
Like
Let's-
the funniest way it was ever done was on the Goldbergs, and it was done on the Goldbergs multiple different times.
But if you look at the original moment, like we're not talking
Yeah,
about
I feel
all
like
the
it's
look
not
at the
fair to
original
like
moment.
take away from the original moment because people have copied it since. That's not fair.
I actually forgot to put that on my list, so thanks for bringing it up.
Now,
Because it's like the first moment that happened, so it's kind of
Exactly.
become cliche, but that's how you know it's like part of the ether. That's why
Exactly.
it's such a defining
And
moment. Yeah.
I would say that really opened my like musical palette up to the great Peter Gabriel, who like I went through a major Peter Gabriel phase and got to see him in concert with Shy in Montreal, and he was unbelievable and quite elderly at the time, and he's still unbelievable performer. And so yeah, that's up there.
I'm gonna blow your mind though. So according
Why?
to IndieWire.com's article, 5 Things You Didn't Know about say
what?
anything.
He
About Say Anything.
Did not write that
All right,
song.
I'm going to read this to you. When the time came to film the scene, Cusack was actually playing Bonin' in the Boneyard by one of his favorite bands, Fishbone.
I figured the song was not actually in that scene. I always imagined that.
And
That's
then
true.
eventually Cameron Crowe decided to put
Right.
in your eyes. Like they knew they weren't going to use Bonin' in the Boneyard, so
Right.
that is actually the song. So if someone's going to Lloyd Dobler me, they better be using the Fishbone song.
Allie, I hope Allie's listening to this.
Allie's not listening. What else you got?
And then this was like a formative musical moment in a film for me as a child, mostly because I would say that I reenacted it multiple times, and belted it out multiple times. And that is the part of your world reprise where the Little Mermaid
yes, you did.
sees.
Thank you, Alan Menken.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like, seriously. Now, as an adult, I sadly realized how very problematic that movie is in terms of its themes.
They're taking it
And
back, though. The new version will be good.
I hope so. It's
That this morning.
really an issue, basically just like silencing women. However, as a young girl, I didn't know any of that and didn't care. And that moment was epic in the movie. And then I've got all of Dirty Dancing.
Just the whole movie.
This is the entire
whole
The
film.
whole film.
The whole entire movie. Can't separate it, but if I had to separate, I would say the Hungry Eyes montage. But it's all so good. And then honorable mention to David Bowie in Labyrinth. Dance Magic.
Dance Magic Dance. That's pretty good.
But I would say, like, not necessarily the scene where he's throwing, like, the creepy baby up in the air, but when Dance Magic Dance comes in at the end and you see all the characters together, like, that warmed my heart. Like,
That
with
is
a very
true. That is a huge relief. You're very stressed at the end of that movie.
And then they're all dancing in her room, like, all the characters come back, and that's the song playing. So that's my list.
Except the Goblin King, who turns into an owl.
Right.
Oh, Becky's baby's kicking. I'm getting to feel it.
I
I never got to feel any of my own kids kick.
We
I
have to
just
hang
never.
out.
Oh,
That was
I
a
just
kick.
felt Becky's
That was
stomach
like a
kick.
real
Becky's super pregnant, Rachel, and so
It has something to do with the bitchiness.
We
Just
took-
not like entirely.
we took a pregnancy pause. All right, we'll do Becky, Rachel, and then I will round us up.
All right. Okay. So, starting off with, and I wouldn't say mine's like exactly in order, but it's not in order. Number 1, Chipmunk Adventure, Girls of Rock and Roll, Boys of Rock and Roll.
Oh my
Battle.
goodness,
That's a
that
great
is
one.
Amazing.
It's one of my all-time favorite movie moments, musical moments, life moments. Nothing brings me joy like that scene. Then, and this is a controversial one.
Better believe it.
We are the girls of rock and... Someone should cover that at the Hera Fest. I'm just saying. This is a controversial one in our house between me and Shy, but I stand by it and I will fight tooth and nail for it. Opening scene of Inside Llewyn Davis, Hang Me, when Oscar Isaac sings Hang Me. It's like, I think it's one of the most beautiful songs, beautiful moments, so incredibly shot. Love that. I didn't see A Star Is Born, but I feel like Shallow would be one of my moments. So that's going on the list.
That's hilarious.
If you knew me at all in high school, you knew Footloose was my number
Yes.
one jam. So
Really?
oh my God, I probably saw Footloose.
I feel like I learned
2
things on this show
3
about
times.
you.
I would watch it like every day.
Really?
Yeah.
But, like, do you mean the ending scene?
You know, the end
or
prom scene. I mean, because there's
The
like,
prom- okay.
let's hear it for the boy.
For the
That's great.
boys.
Like, I love
That was
Let's Hear
going to
It
be
for
on
the
my
Boy.
list.
It's like a
That
real
was-
special one, but I think like ultimately like the final prom scene to Footloose, and you see all like the crazy dance moves, and then Rocky Horror Picture Show, Let's Do the Time Warp. That is like one of the creepiest movies, creepiest scenes, but
I'm surprised
it's
that's on your
very,
list.
yeah,
and,
I always
and
really
it was a
loved that.
mainstay at bar mitzvahs in the
Yeah.
90s. Rachel, did you go to bar and bat mitzvahs in the 90s?
Oh, every weekend from 7th to 8th grade. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so-
I went to Jewish day
Was
school.
was the time warp big at your bar
Not
mitzvahs?
at the bar and bat mitzvahs, but I did get introduced to it by my friends around that time. Like, we would have sleepovers, and we would watch that movie. So
Yeah.
that's a thing.
And then last on my list is Bohemian Rhapsody Live Aid.
Oh, just the whole- I almost
whole,
made my
Live Aid
list.
thing, because that's amazing. And then honorable mention for me and Lily. I'm shocked, Lily, this wasn't on your list. 13 Going on 30, Love is a Battlefield.
It was
Yeah.
originally on my list. It was.
It's amazing. I took it off my list because I figured it would be on your list, because that's
You know,
really your movie.
It was, but I think it was originally on my list. But to me, in the end, I don't know. I don't know. In the end, I switched it out. But it's very accurate. That is one of my top. That's one of my favorite movies in
Rachel,
general.
I heard you react
Yeah.
there. But as you kick off your list.
I mean, Mark Ruffalo,
Oh,
great
Yes.
role for him.
Hello.
But also,
It was.
Like, that wasn't. I didn't even think of that moment, but like the second you said it, I was like, oh wait, That
Yep,
is
for
a music
sure. It's
moment.
so
That's
funny.
Like,
such
for sure.
an amazing moment.
Yeah.
At the sleepover
Sleepover.
when
Yeah.
she teaches him. I feel like I want that movie remade, but with the exact cast.
Yeah.
Like, just see it again today with them.
So like 13 going on 40,
45.
Yes.
and they
Pretty
just
much.
learn a new
45.
lesson. They learn a
Sure.
new lesson.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Rachel. Now this is a professional musician, people. So this is.
No.
I don't think there will be any overlap here, which is beautiful. But we'll
That's
find
great.
out. Maybe we'll see. But so I'm not going to do these in any like numerical order because I can't possibly rank all of them. So I'm just going to go through my list because it's hard to. But let's see. Let's go down the list. So my first one is Earth Angel from Back to the Future.
Oh my
That's a
god,
great
that's
one.
so smart.
Like
Yes.
every time I hear that song, I can't not think of that movie. And that's, when he gets his, the feelings back in his hand and he's not disappearing anymore. And it's when the parents kiss and that's a moment, But I can't listen to that song without thinking of that movie. So that's a good one, I think. I love that. My next one is a big one in my household, in my family, Over the Rainbow, which was almost cut from Wizard of Oz.
Really?
But that was
I didn't know that.
It wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. Like, they wanted to get rid of it. They thought it was too slow or sad or whatever it was, but they ended up keeping it, and look how iconic it's become in our culture, And it almost wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, that's like the definition of a hopeful, like, dream song, right?
Yeah, it's basically my family's, like, that's our song. So, yeah, 100%.
And is it exclusively the Judy Garland version, or do you accept other versions?
No, there's only one version.
There's only one. Are you looking forward to see Renee Zellweger play her? Or not so much?
I don't have any haterade toward Renee. I think she's, good. I think anyone who's complaining about those things are just too stuck in their ways and aren't willing to see creative adaptations of people's lives.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get your take on it once the movie comes out.
Oh, absolutely. I look forward to seeing it. It'll be cool. Let's see. What's the next one? None of you will have this, but I'm glad I remembered this. The final scene of First Wives Club?
Oh my god!
You don't own me?
You don't own me.
Yes.
That's a
I admit,
one.
I like every once in a while, I'll just like catch myself humming and strutting that, like I'm Goldie Hawn.
Great song, but it's like earlier in that movie, Diane Keaton's character wouldn't sing it, but then by the end, they make it happen because they've opened that big center and they're celebrating and they're in their all white like suits and they're relishing all the victories they just had and all these beautiful things they did in their friend's memory, and then they just bust out in the song, and I thought that was so cool. So yeah, You Don't Own Me at the end of First Wives Club.
That movie is the definition of a movie that like I watched with Mom.
Yeah. No, I feel like that deserves a rewatch. Yeah.
So good, guys. So good. Rewatch that. I think it's on one of the many streaming platforms available to us. I just don't remember which one, but I know I saw it recently. Let's see. Next one is, the first time that the Wonders play That Thing You Do at the talent show when Guy Patterson sees it up. He's my dream man. Can I just marry Guy Patterson? Can he be a real person?
That just so you know, mine are not 100% numerical, but that is my number one music scene of any movie of all time.
I love that movie so much. Oh my God! But yeah, when he speeds it up and takes Jimmy
are my
for
biggest
a run.
fan.
You are.
Yeah, and the way the voices crack at the beginning, and you see Lenny coming alive. You know that feeling when you hit the song in the right way for the first time. Oh, it's amazing. And just the fact that they're called the Oneaters in that scene, and
Oneaters. Oh yeah, that's
having you guys also your perspective as musicians can relate on another level to that scene.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the slowed down version of That Thing You Do, it's like, really, Jimmy? Why did you think that was a ballad? It's not a ballad. It's so much better sped up. So you know what? Guy was right. Go, Guy Patterson.
Like Mr. White says, none of this lover's lament crap, Jimmy. I want something snappy. I know that movie by heart.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
And forever, Jonathan Skaich will like always be perceived as a dirtbag by me because of Jimmy being such a jerk in that movie.
Such a jerk. Oh,
any others? Any other honorable mentions?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh, when the band in Titanic plays when they sink. I know that was real, but that's also like, I mean,
wow, way to bring it home with some history.
You know, I found that all of like most of my favorite movies of all time tend to be period pieces, and I don't know what that says about me, but
it's interesting.
Yeah. And then my honorable mention is the first like 10 to 15 minutes of West Side Story, because there's no vocals, it's just dancing and music. And I think that's the first time in film history that like they did that intentionally. Like it wasn't like a Fantasia thing. It was just like, you know, straight up. It's a musical theater on the big
screen. They're communicating through dance.
Yep.
And you know what? That makes me think that the world is ready for Cats the musical. I'm just saying.
No, you're ready for Cats.
Shy's ready.
I'm on Cats watch. There's a lot of musical and dancing in Cats. Just want West Side Story fans to know. All right.
And they're redoing West Side Story, by the way.
Which I don't really think they should do, but at least Rita Moreno's in it. But like, it's unnecessary. Steven Spielberg, just like do something else, please.
Exactly.
Why do they keep remaking these classic films? It's like, I mean, I know Star is Born is like, there's 4 versions of it, and I've only seen one of them. But it's like, why can't we be creative?
But I think it's a good point. Like, you're telling me Spielberg has nothing else to do? You're telling me that guy's made all the movies he can make?
An Indiana Jones 5, but...
Well, I feel like people think that if they're ever going to be redone, he's the only one that they would allow to redo it.
I guess.
So he kind of is like, it's like an obligation.
I guess. You're him and you're like, oh, fine, I'll do it. I mean, I don't know.
No, that's got to be something he wants to do. It's got to be like...
a childhood
dream
of it?
Some hobby project that he's just like, I've always wanted to redo West Side Story. I don't know.
Like, how obnoxious, like, I mean, I'm sure he's a great guy, but to be like, like, I could totally just redo West Side Story.
Like, he could.
I guess. He can do anything, but I
mean,
know.
if anyone's going to do it, I guess it would be him, but yeah.
He's really transitioned into, like, doing classic films and melodramas, and it's kind of interesting to see how you go from Jaws and Indiana Jones into this trajectory.
Close Encounters and Poltergeist.
Right, and then he's become like a classic filmmaker in a way now. It's interesting.
He was a bit of a renegade once.
Yeah,
I want to see him like come through West Side Story and then go do something bizarre. I would like to see that.
Good luck.
I mean, I'd like him to go back to the Minority Report kind of movie. I'd like him to go make some sort of
so good at that.
intellectual
weird science
suspense
thriller
that has a moral component to it. Because he like me, I never liked Lincoln. Like Allie walked out of Lincoln, and Lincoln, she was like, that was like going to the Hall of Presidents at Disney World. Who wants to watch this movie? Okay.
Shot your list. Who's
ready for my list? All right, now you guys, I've previewed a little bit. So my number 1 is That Thing You Do. I'm a drummer. Guy Patterson is my hero. It's that simple.
Also, this is like an epic Rex list. If people are listening have not seen these movies, go watch these movies.
Yeah, these are also, that is true. No one has picked a movie that also sucks.
Right. Start with Chipmunk Adventure and then work your way through the rest.
Hey, Chipmunk Adventure is timeless. My kids all the time go, what about my couscous? All because of the... They do that. They say it all the time. What about my couscous? There's another great song. We're on the one that the women sing when they're traveling. I forget the name of it right now. That's such a beautiful song.
With the little baby penguin.
Yeah. And the guy gets hit in the head with the windmill.
I always cry.
Yeah, let's go watch it after this.
Oh.
Okay. That Thing You Do. Then, and we were very lucky because we had Noah Austin on the show who worked on this movie, who worked and did the special effects, I think, in this scene. The Beetlejuice Deo scene, where they take over the bodies of Catherine O'Hara and the rest of the characters, and they sing Deo, and then at the end, though, because it's Tim Burton, and that was Tim Burton like at his prime, when those hands come out, the shrimp hands come out and grab their faces, I hit the ceiling. I was terrified. That's just a brilliant movie, and that scene, like, again, it's the middle of a sort of horror comedy, and there's a musical scene in the middle of it. incredible. There's actually a couple of musical scenes
with a great song too.
Yeah. This one to me this next one is a quintessential. If you were a '90s teenager, this is such a big deal. Which is the opening credits scene of Reservoir Dogs, when those guys are walking.
Stuck in the Middle with You?
No.
No.
So I had to look up the name of the song. It's called Little Green Bag by the George Baker Selection. Never knew the song.
Oh, no, Stuck in the Middle with You is later in the movie.
Yeah, that is not one of my favorite scenes ever. It's an iconic scene, but it's not one of my favorite scenes. But
right.
the opening credits, when they're walking in the black suits, and the beat is going, and you hear Stephen Wright doing the introduction, that radio introduction that he does throughout the movie. And it was just the epitome of cool. And as time would go on, I think Tarantino is one of the best people at using music in movies. And that, to me, it's one of the first scenes in his first movie. That's incredible. Okay.
What's the name of the song again?
It's called Little Green Bag by the
Little
George
Green
Baker
Bag.
Selection. Now the next one is another song I had to look up because I had no idea what the song was.
Which is hilarious that like these important movie moments for you, then it's not necessarily just about that song.
Oh, it transcends. It's the emotion. It's the moment in the film. And
Right.
This is the film Warrior, which to me is really one of my favorite movies ever. And people kind of look at it and they're like, oh, it's a movie about MMA. No. This is the closest you'll ever feel to the original Rocky is this movie. It's about two brothers who join an MMA competition, two estranged brothers. It's got Nick Nolte, who was nominated for an Oscar, and music by The National, who I sort of like, I'm ambivalent about them, but I've seen them a bunch of times and I have a bunch of their albums. But the final scene of that movie,
I just feel like
I'm
ambivalent about them, but I've seen them in concert many times and own most of their music. I just don't know how I feel.
I just don't know how I feel. Exactly.
like a very
But-
shy thing to say.
It's like how I feel about chickpea flour. Like, I've used it a bunch and I own it, but like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Exactly. And National is the chickpea flour of bands to me. But the scene at the end of the movie, in the final fight scene, when it goes almost silent and the National comes in, I cry every single time. And I'm not a crier. I cry every single time.
Well, I think that makes you a crier. Just
You can call yourself not a crier, doesn't mean you're not a crier.
Fair enough. Then this next scene is one of the triumphs of nerd triumph in a movie. It is when Jeremy Corsmo's character lip syncs Paradise City in Can't Hardly Wait.
When he gets drunk.
funny.
When he goes from the beginning of the movie going, the beer
Beer
is
is bad. The
Do
beer
not
is bad.
The beer.
to lip syncing that song when the band has broken up. What's it called? Love Burger?
Love burger.
Which is led by Breckin Meyer and
Donald
Donald Faison.
And they break up, get back together, have a reunion tour. Like,
Yeah, you
And then the
never
police
hear,
come-
and you
and
never
then-
hear
and
the
then-
play single song.
and they never sing. And as soon as they're about to play, the police come.
Amazing.
They never get
And
a
there's a moment where he's dancing and singing, and one of the women picks up her shirt, and he faints. He like lands on the table, and then he jumps up in the
Right.
air, and the microphone goes flying in the air somehow, and he catches it. To me, that is one of the greatest moments of triumph ever in music in a movie. And then my honorable mention goes to the scene after Billy Crudup jumps off the roof in the party in Almost Famous, and they collect him on the tour bus, and the whole bus sings
It's an
Tiny
iconic
Dancer.
scene.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
scene. I'm actually surprised you put that on. That's like a really
Me too.
special scene.
In my head, I'm like, maybe like, but that's one of those things that like, in the moment when I saw that in the theater, like it's so emotional. It's such a beautiful moment. It's based on Cameron Crowe's like original start of his career. I'm assuming that actual scene didn't really happen, but it's a great
But it's something he wished happened.
right. But that's like a great like music journalist, fantasy and a fan fantasy, and you see it in the movie. And then since then, maybe now looking back, it's kind of cheesy,
No,
and so that's why
it's
maybe
so
Becky and I
special.
maybe think that you wouldn't put it in. But in the moment, it's a great scene, and it shouldn't be tarnished.
I also
just
love
because it could then
that.
maybe
I
be cheesy.
also love that Tiny Dancer is used so well in that movie. It makes you think that song was written for that movie.
Yeah.
It's like the theme of that movie, but it's existed for a really long time. I think it's amazing when a song can leave its old context and be installed in
I
a new
have
type
chills.
context.
I have chills right now.
Yeah.
But also
Can we
because
just take a moment though to say what did Cameron Crowe use up all his good ideas? Like what happened? I'm just gonna
But
put a
Cameron
thing.
Crowe,
Just
Cameron
put
Crowe
a-
had two spots on this list. I think Cameron Crowe's like
No, he's a genius. I just something happened after like 1990 something. Like he made Aloha. What? What?
Well, no,
Oh.
and Elizabethtown.
And Elizabeth.
Did he make that too?
Yeah.
Or Orlando Bloom just poos all over that movie. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It hasn't. There's. If you look at the IMDb posts a certain year, look. God, if I could make one of the movies he's made, please. Like I'm not going to criticize the man.
I'm going to tell you
Just
what I think about Cameron Crowe. Almost every one of Cameron Crowe's movies.
We're gonna get
boy.
controversial.
Oh boy.
Controversial. Every single one of his movies has an iconic, amazing musical scene, at least one, if not two. Even the credits of Jerry Maguire with Shelter from the Storm were amazing. But if you actually try to sit through any one of his movies from beginning to end, they're really long and I think often focus on the wrong part, on like the least interesting part of the story. So I'm actually not the biggest Cameron Crowe fan, but I think his use of music in movies is almost unrivaled. Rachel, do you have a thought on Cameron Crowe? Do you spend as much time thinking about him as I do?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay. All right, well,
Sorry.
Rachel, you've been so gracious with your time. You got up super early after tons of music and rock starring the night before. I would love to get any shout-outs from you as well as your socials and where people should follow you.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, there's RachelLevitin.com, but one of my favorite places to go is Instagram. So RH Levitin on Instagram, and then, Facebook and Twitter. It's pretty much all there. If you Google me, I think there's multiple Rachel Levitins, but no one quite as unique as me. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that
That is for
pops up.
sure.
Yeah.
Don't
True story.
go to the Rachel Levitin. That's the podiatrist in New Jersey.
Yeah,
Go to the
I think
rock
we're
star.
cousins, but I've never met her. Yeah, I don't know. Jewish geography, right?
All right, cool. And of course, ProjectHera.org, friends. Get on there.
Yes,
Get some.
ProjectHera.org. Please do come to City Winery on September 22nd. If you can't, it is a 501c3 nonprofit, so if you do go to our website, it is a tax-deductible, donation, and we welcome it all. It goes right back in. Anything we get between now and the festival all goes directly to the festival. So anything you can give, or even if it's just spreading the word, that's helpful. So we appreciate it.
Awesome. All right.
That's really amazing.
Lily, where can people follow you?
Chi ChiChik Gomez on Twitter.
Do you know that Becky has her daughter calling
Yes,
you Tia Chichi?
I do know. I do know.
My kids think it is the funniest thing in the world. They look at me, they're like, who's Tia Chichi?
Who the hell is that?
I think it's a genius nickname, and this
it's
way
super
she
genius.
has learned to say your name. She's gonna be like 4 or 5 before she can say Tia Lily.
I mean, it's
so.
amazing. I think it's hilarious and
She
genius.
actually uses it and says it in reference to me, so she can tweet at me anytime.
She's almost as good at Twitter as Becky. She's going to run Becky's Twitter account.
better.
Becky, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at PaperBKPrincess on Twitter. And you can see all my angry or supportive tweets of airlines as I travel.
Becky is keeping the airlines honest.
Mostly what I tweet about.
If you are not keeping it together on your airline, Becky will film you and she will tweet it out.
Tweet the shit out of that.
And you can follow me at Pancake and the number 4 table on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow all of the Friday Night Movie shenanigans at FridayNightMovie.com. The theme music is by What Does It Eat, and it will kick in, and we will dance in our chairs and go off and enjoy this lovely Saturday. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye. Love you. Good luck with the festival.
Thank you. Bye.
Rachel, bye.
And now, Friday Night Movie listeners, we have a special treat. At the request of me and my sisters, Rachel has given us permission to put one of her amazing songs, Get Back Up. I love this song. It pumps me up. It's about a true story. Enjoy Get Back Up by Rachel Levitin, and check her out at RachelLevitin.com.
Crashed my face into the ground. get back up again. Who's getting better from the fall down? But my blood